Hot FM. Hot FM proudly supports the Benidorm Enthusiast and your favorite YouTube channel, Benidorm Stuff.
Hi guys, the Benidorm Enthusiast here with Benidorm Stuff YouTube channel. Bringing you this video from a beautiful Levante beach today. I'm going to be taking you for a skate down the beachfront whilst I chat about the latest news from here and some fake news which has been floating around on the internet over the last few days. So first, I want to get the fake news out of the way. There's a website which put up an article saying that our region, the Valencia region, will be going into lockdown on the 17th of December and everything non-essential, cafes, bars, hotels would be closed down. Well, obviously that hasn't happened. There is no lockdown, and as you will see here on the beachfront, places are still very much open. If they are closed, it's down to it just being too quiet, not an enforced lockdown. The article in question got shared all over the internet and social media, as these things do. We were inundated with worried messages, posts and emails from people with travel plans over the next few weeks. It was completely fake news. I don't know how they get away with it, to be honest. If we were back in lockdown, I wouldn't even be out here doing this video. Most of you know our lockdown here in Spain was extremely harsh. We were confined to our homes for months and not even allowed out for exercise. And there's absolutely no mention of that lockdown happening again. There hasn't even been a mention of closing places down again in any announcements that I've seen. The truth and real news is very different indeed. The head of our regional Valencia government, Chimo Puig, last spoke out on Thursday saying he was still against bringing in new restrictions at the moment. Case numbers are on the rise here, as they are everywhere. I'll go through the numbers with you shortly. But it is hospital pressure which will be the determining factor when it comes to deciding about restrictions being brought in. And at the moment, hospital pressure is said to be worrying but manageable. There has been mention of expanding the use of the COVID pass, which is now needed to enter bars and restaurants with a capacity of more than 50. They may broaden the list of venues and establishments which you need to use the pass soon, but we will update you on that if and when it happens. Now, obviously things can change very fast, as we've all learned over the past 2 years, and new restrictions have not been ruled out completely. If the hospital pressure gets so high where it becomes unmanageable, yes, going back to some kind of restrictions is a possibility. But at the moment, that is what the situation is. We are not in lockdown. It is very quiet in Benidorm. There's very few tourists here, very few people in general really. But those of us that are here are most definitely not in lockdown. Okay, so before we get onto the numbers and more COVID stuff, because I know everybody is just so tired with it all now, let me just show you how beautiful Levante is looking today. Just gorgeous. We have been having some fantastic daytime weather lately. Temperatures in the high teens. The sun hasn't stopped shining all this last week. There have even been a few people braving the beach and the sea. Mostly walkers out this morning. I'm sure there will be some sunbathers later if those clouds out to sea stay away. It's not for me. I generally don't attempt to sunbathe until at least May or June. But the few tourists that are here have been loving the weather, and those that don't soak up the sun on the beach tend to find a sun trap on one of the beachfront bars and lap it up whilst enjoying some refreshments down here on the promenade. The nights do get cold, down to single figures sometimes, and there is some rain forecast for this weekend. But the forecast can change almost hourly here, so I wouldn't worry yourself too much about that if you're heading over soon. With a generally older crowd here at this time of year, the nights are also very quiet. They don't tend to stay out partying until dawn. If you saw our last video of the strip, you'll have seen just how quiet that area is. We are expecting it to pick up this weekend despite all the difficulties and complications of travel right now. There are still some people lucky enough to be able to come for Christmas. If you're one of those, we can't wait to see you. And if you're one of those who have had their plans disrupted for whatever reason, we will miss you and we hope to see you soon as things have settled down again. Back to the COVID situation here then. So numbers per 100,000. The average for Spain is around 475 at the moment. The Valencia region is slightly higher than the national average at 530 cases per 100,000. And that does actually put us in what they are now calling the very high risk zone with the new grading system which is in place in Spain. Any region above 500 is considered very high risk. In Benidorm itself, the numbers are slightly higher again with around 675 per 100,000. As I mentioned before, these numbers are not what they are using now to assess new restrictions. They are taken into consideration, of course, but what they are focusing on now is the pressure on hospitals and health services. How many people are being admitted with COVID, how many serious illnesses there are, how many are in the intensive care units. These factors will be much more relevant when it comes to making decisions about new restrictions. And as it stands, even though the case numbers are higher than this time last year, the hospital pressure is lower, which is a good sign. The latest figures I found for the Valencia region, which has a population of around 5 million, is 713 people with coronavirus admitted to hospital. Of those, 122 are in the intensive care unit. 6.8% of hospital beds are occupied by COVID patients, and in the intensive care units that percentage rises to 17.8%. Vaccinations, how is that going over here? Well, we had a very slow start, but once the mass campaign got going, it moved very quickly and most people had no issues coming forward to get vaccinated. Over 80% of the entire population is fully vaccinated, and when you apply that to the over 12s, it's over 90% fully vaccinated. They have now just started to vaccinate children from 5 years of age and are also rolling out with the boosters. The over 60s age range have been getting their third shots so far, and they will be expanding that age group for the boosters to the over 40s very soon. So that's about all for the main stats and news about the situation here at the moment. Take no notice of the fake news and scaremongering. It doesn't help anybody. It can be very damaging. This is how it is right now. This is the situation. I've tried my best to be as honest and simple with the information I have. Situation is not great, but it is what it is, and at least with the facts, people can make informed decisions on whether to come or not. I will love you and leave you all on that note. Worked up a bit of a sweat with that skate today. It's warmer than I thought. So definitely time for an ice cold one on a sunny terrace. Thanks for watching, guys. Once again, not the nicest of videos to watch. I had really hoped we would be able to distance ourselves from these COVID updates on our videos by now and concentrate more on showing you around Benidorm. But we're not quite there yet, it seems, so we will continue to keep you informed on the situation the best we can through this channel. Should any changes happen regarding restrictions, we will do an update video as soon as we can. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos, and also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok at the Benidorm Enthusiast, where we also do regular updates. Another thank you to Hot FM for supporting us. You can now listen to Hot FM from anywhere in the world via TuneIn, so have a little listen when you can. Stay positive, stay safe, and have a wonderful Christmas wherever you are.